I'm the volunteer coordinator. I'm sorry, it's went over like 4 slides. I'm the
Yeah.
volunteer coordinator for our Detroit location. I also manage the volunteers at our Roseville locations. They're called the Roseville Cat Caregivers.
Yeah.
Steve is the liaison between um, our Roseville Cat Caregivers, the volunteer department, and the management department at our PetSmart. So he's going to be on site on our Saturday live adoption date. And then I also am going to be helping out Ashley in the event season at Petco. So you're going to see me over at that location a little bit more. But today we are going to be talking about National Adoption Week. That's going to be running through Monday the 20th through Sunday the 26th. So this is Cree, and she has some neonatals in her hand. She's a very lovely person. She works over at our Detroit location. If you ever come across her, she's amazing. So our objectives for today are going to be talking about the event duration. We're going to be talking about greeter responsibilities. We're going to talk a little bit about the tabling supplies that I'm going to be bringing and the resources that we're going to be having available on the table. We're going to talk about the adoption process because it does differ a little bit from our on-site process at our shelters. We're going to talk about the run of show that's happening on Saturday. And then we're going to talk about what the animal handlers are going to be doing on Saturday to assist with that event. So this does look wrong. I do apologize. I forgot to adjust the dates on here. So it's going to be Monday the 20th through Sunday the 26th. And then on Saturday, that is when the live adoption is going to be. So that's going to be the 25th. So that's going to be 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Fingers crossed. We are able to adopt out all those animals that we bring on site. So in previous events that we've had for the National Adoption Week, we did say, oh, we want to adopt out 30 animals. But a lot of you who've been around for the last few months or so, I'm sure you have noticed that we've had a lot of little tiny kind of like little mini pop-up adoption events everywhere. So a lot of our kittens have kind of gone like been dispersed. So our goal is to have all of our transported animals to that event be adopted on site.
Good. Good.
So greeters and customer service. So you are a representative of Michigan Humane. So your responsibilities will include one, greeting guests and answering questions. You're going to have your kind face and say, hello, how you doing? Welcome. And then put your best face forward. Receiving donations. So we have our little money banks right here. There's going to have like a little QR code on that card in there. So they can do monetary donations. They can drop money right into there, or they can scan the QR code. You also might get donations as well, like physical donations. So like blankets, food, sometimes toys. So if you do see those or you do receive those, just give me a shout at the end of your shift, and then I'll make sure to pick those up either on my way home or on my way to work the next day to make sure that they're not being cluttered on site at the adoption center. You're also going to be encouraging guests to join us. So you guys are the perfect advocates for volunteerism because you volunteer yourself. So you could talk about your experiences here at Michigan Humane. You could talk about what you do. You could talk about the different roles that we also offer as well. And then also managing foot traffic. So especially during those PM hours, people are going to be coming after work, and we don't want to have 4, 5, 6 people in that adoption center. It's kind of tiny. It's about 4 feet in width. So we don't want all those people inside of there. It can stress the cats out. And as we know, those higher cortisol levels from stress can cause the cats to have upper respiratory infection, and we don't want that to happen. So we have the PM shift or the AM shift and the PM shift. So 12 to 2 and the 5 to 7. You are going to be working in coordination with our Roseville cat caregivers. So when you come in for the AM shift, you might see someone in there cleaning, playing with the kitties, emptying out the litter pan and such, feeding and watering. And that's okay. They're just coming in there to make sure that those kitties are taken care of and that the center is nice and tidy for the event. They actually come throughout the week every time we have cats. So shout out to the Roseville cat caregivers. We can't do it without them. So if you do want to stop in and say hello, you can. If you do have positive start training, you are more than welcome to take out some cats. Just make sure that that door is completely shut and don't allow any people to come in while you're doing so, because we don't want to have a loose kitty in the store. That'll be detrimental. The key is going to be in the adoption desk in Greg's office around the corner there. So if you do have any questions about that, just reach out to me via email and I can give you some more direction. Tabling. So we're going to have 1 or 2 lovely tables with this nice teal tablecloth on here. So I just talked about the donation banks. You're also going to have some resource handouts that I'm going to talk a little bit about each one individually so you feel more comfortable talking about it. We're going to have some interactive activities. So in the past, we have had foraging bags. So I am planning to bring some foraging bag supplies as well. So that's just some kibble, some newspaper, and some brown paper bags. And the dogs kind of just rip them up when you give it to them. So it's a nice engaging activity to have with the public. They can make one for the shelter, or they can make one and bring it home to their dog. I'm going to have potentially some materials for making rope braids for the kitty cats as well. We're going to have also some little kitty knot giveaways. So the little fleece knots we're going to be giving out. I'm also going to be bringing some handkerchiefs for the dogs to wear around their necks as giveaways as well. And then we're also going to have an FAQ sheet available for the volunteers. So that way it'll list like any questions that you'll frequently be asked, like what does the adoption process look like? It looks a lot different than the shelter. I'll go over it in a little bit. Another thing is, can I do a surrender here? Which they cannot, because it's an adoption center, not a shelter, so we can't do that. What does the return policy look like? So those are just things that are frequently asked, and they can just graze over that when you first come in and just get comfortable with that. And then if you do have any questions, you can go ahead and reach out to me. So one of the sheets that are available is the 10 ways to get involved flyer. So this is the one that we have pretty much at all the fronts of our desks there. I have one of these in my office. So basically it's like a plethora of things. It's our go-to flyer that we give out. So it's going to have information about donating, especially with our Amazon wish list connected to that in this QR code down here. I can scan that, hit our Amazon wish list, and it's going to have leashes on there, bowls, what else is it? Toys, Kongs, all the types of things that we use at the shelter. It'll have how to become a foster or a volunteer. We definitely need those fosters during our kitten season. We can't say that enough. And then of course our in-shelter volunteers at all of our locations. We need help everywhere. The adoption process at our adoption centers as well. So we do have a link just explaining that a little bit more in depth. It's going to talk about our dog programs, the ones that we just launched this year, our sleepover and our dog day getaway. I'll discuss those a little bit more in depth in a moment. It's going to have a link for employment opportunities as well. Oops, I cannot see. Get away. I can't read that bottom one. I do apologize. Oh, there, and our apparel website as well. So right here. So that's another way that we are able to promote Michigan Humane, is for people to wear our gear. I know a lot of volunteers purchase this and wear it on site as well, because we have a plethora of colors available on there and different designs. And as long as it says Michigan Humane, you can always wear it on site to volunteer. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
So another one of our flyers, just like I was saying, we're going to go in depth a little bit more, is our canine sleepover. So this program is really awesome. We just launched it earlier last year. It was the first program that we launched. The getaway was the second. So basically, anybody is eligible for this. You just walk into one of our shelters. So you can come into Sterling Heights, our Westland location, or Detroit. No prior registration is required. And you can walk the kennels and say, hey, I really connect with this dog. Can I take him for a sleepover? And it's kennel sized dogs only. So that means no puppies and no small dogs. Reason being, small dogs and puppies are a high demand and they're going to go home really fast. So that program's not really needed for them. So the time duration can be just one overnight, so 24 hours. or it can be up to a week. And it's a really great way for the dog to decompress. It increases the adoption rate. Reason being, one, the dog gets more exposure to friends or family. So if they come over, the dog's over, and they're like, "Oh, I really like this dog." The person that's doing the sleepover maybe just like giving the dog a break, but doesn't really want to adopt. But the family member might want to adopt. But on the other side of it, it's a trial period for the person bringing the dog home. They might be thinking about bringing an animal home. They connected with this dog. They had a week with them. The dog's really, really awesome. So he's like, "I really want to adopt," and they'll adopt the dog out. So we've been seeing that increase the level of adoptions over and over and over again. So I really love this program. Our secondary program that we just launched last year was our dog day getaway program. So it's very similar to the sleepover, as is you are going to be taking the dog out. But the difference is we're taking the gear is for them to take the dog outside and get lots of exposure for the dog outside. So in this one, you do have to register 24 hours in advance. You're not going to be picking the dog. Reason being is because you're going to fill out this little pamphlet on our side of things and saying, "Hey, I want to take this dog to the park. I want to kind of sit on the couch and watch Netflix with the dog." So we're going to match you with the dog specific to your needs. And it is for kennel-sized dogs only. Reason being, again, is because the small dogs and the puppies really don't need this program because they're going to get adopted out really fast when they are up for adoption. Like I said, the behavior team will select the dog based on the person's preference. And then you can pick the dog up as early as 10 a.m. for your scheduled getaway. And you have to drop the dog off by 5 p.m. to just make sure that the dog gets in smoothly. They get their nightly meal, and we're good to go and close up shop for the shelters. Again, great way for the dog to decompress. I'm not sure if anybody has seen this on our website or not, or our social media platforms, but it's really great. We've been having a lot of influencers that have a lot of followers get a lot of exposure to these dogs, and these dogs have been getting adopted within like the next couple days. It's really awesome. They wear a really cool vest that says "Adopt Me." The person has a little backpack that has all their gear in it that they need for the day. So like a water bottle, some toys, a towel. They have a double leash so the dog can't get loose. We have emergency cards in there just in case anything were to happen. And again, because they have all this exposure, the dog is going to get adopted really fast. And it's really funny too, when they come back to the shelter, they fall asleep immediately. They had a day. Um, Another one of the flyers that we're going to have on the table is serving both ends of the leash. I'm sure you have heard all of the volunteer department talk about this. This is our goal by the year of 2030, is making Metro Detroit the most humane community. And we believe by serving both ends of the leash that we're going to accomplish that goal. So we do have a team of community advocates over at our Pet Pantry warehouse, and they assist with, connecting people with utility assistance. We have our safety net program. If the person's going through a hardship, we help them, we take their animal for several months, allow them to get their situation in order, and reunite them with their animal. We talked about the Pet Pantry just briefly just now. So we partner with Gleaners and Forgotten Harvest. So those are companies that give out human food, and we partner with them and give out cat and dog food. So we're serving both ends. We have to make sure that we have a healthy human community in order to have a healthy domesticated animal community. So we have to make sure that both of those communities are being served. And then also our pet health resources. So we do have our One House. We have our pop-up clinics that do our shots and just an evaluation. We have our community vet program that Dr. Cece runs, and she goes out in the community in her souped up van and goes out with a licensed veterinary technician and Sam, our transport guy, and she goes and sees animals in the community and provides preventative care. And we also have our on-site program as well, the One Health, where we will do flea and tick prevention. We'll do spay and neuter. We'll do our immunizations, all for a low cost to make sure that we're helping those animals stay in their loving homes, because we don't want those animals to be sickly. So that's kind of the topics that you would talk about that with that flyer if anybody were to ask. And then of course it does have all the contact information at the bottom here. And this is my favorite little flyer right now because look at that face. It's just adorable. But our kitten registry. So we still are in kitten season. Hopefully we're going to be tapering off, knock on wood, shortly. But it takes a lot of resources to take care of these babies. The majority of the kittens that come in through our doors are going into foster homes. So we need our kitten formula, the KMR and the Breeder's Edge. That stuff is expensive. We also have our Amazon list. So we have like our little bottle nipples on there. We have our syringes on there. We have blankets. We have little low profile litter pans. We have litter on there. Chicken baby food. I know one of my little Foster's was a little stinker. He didn't want to eat, and he didn't even want to eat mom and baby wet food. He just wanted the chicken baby food. So that he's funny. And then I talked about the syringes and toppers, and then of course like the scales and everything, because we have to make sure that we are keeping a weight on these babies and make sure that they are continuing to grow. So again, it's a lot of resources. So pushing that is a good one as well. And then this is our kind of like our volunteer newsletter, but it's for the community. So we have we also have one called The Connection as well through our for our staff. So this is just one and the same. This is just how we keep our community updated on what is happening at Michigan Humane. What are we getting involved in? What are we pushing? Like what legislations we're standing behind. All those type of things are going to be going in there. Success stories, those are my favorites. I always like the little section where they do tips and tricks. We kind of do the same with the newsletter. Announcements of events. So like our Mutt March, we might put in there. Our Bow Wow Brunch, we're going to put in there. And then of course, for the community outreach, we're going to be talking about what One Health programs are coming up just to make sure that everybody's staying updated so that they can come on down and get the help that they need for their pets. So I'm going to have a nice big QR code for that. Next, we're going to talk about, oh, they're so cute, the adoption process. So it looks a lot different from our on-site adoption process. On-site, they just come in, like I said, hey, I want this kitty. I want to meet them. They sit in the meeting room and then they pay us and then they go home. This is a little bit different. If the guests are interested in adopting, even if there is a couple people that you notice that are in line, still push them to call this number. So when they call this number, they might get a live person. They might get a voicemail. If they get a voicemail, make sure to always promote them to leave their first and last name and their phone number. The first person in the queue is going to be the one that's eligible for the cat. But if that person does fall through, that doesn't work, the next person that's in the queue is going to get the cat. So that's why it's very important, excuse me, to make sure that we are going to still push them to call that number if they're interested in that particular cat. If that cat is on a hold, say like we got in contact with the person who wants to adopt Tabitha, we'll just say, then they will, Steve or Ferna or somebody at the Petco location is going to tell our Roseville cat caregivers or the PetSmart store to put I'm going home on there. So that way there's a hold on there. So we're not going to be just you know, thinking or allowing everybody to think like, hey, this cat's not going home when it actually is. So, and then we're also going to call those people that are next in the queue line and say, hey, this guy's actually going home today. Are you interested in somebody else? So we try to still promote the adoption over the phone. So everybody is happy. And then everybody will get that phone call within 24 hours to complete that adoption or let them know like, hey, this cat's going home. Are you interested in somebody else, and get them connected with another cat. All right, so Saturday is going to be the big day. We're planning to bring additional kittens on site as well as puppies on the side. That's always fun. And they'll be transported to PetSmart the day of by the Michigan Humane Transport team. Staff will be there to process the adoptions in real time from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. I believe Steve's going to be there. Verna usually comes, and then another staff member, and it's going to be a fun time. So what is that going to look like? So we're going to have a few kitten handlers and a few puppy handlers. So you guys are going to be not only assisting by keeping the animals clean and tidy, but you're also going to be greeting the customers and answering questions about the adoption process while the staff are helping the other customers. So that's why I did not have greeters there as well, because you guys are going to be doing kind of both of the roles, a dual role. So basically, we're going to be having all their adoption paperwork kind of just on the front of their kennels. The first is going to be first come, first serve. So if they're interested in that puppy right there, Fido, we're going to say, are you interested? They're going to be like, yeah. And then you're going to give them the adoption paperwork and you say, hey, okay, go ahead and stand in line. We're going to have Steve and Ferna and whoever else at that adoption table with some laptops processing the adoptions in live time. And then they're going to have next in line, next in line. And once they process the adoption, they're going to come back with either a kitty box for the kitties, or we're going to give them a temporary leash for the puppies, and then they get to go home with their animal. So you guys are going to be really, really beneficial with showcasing those animals, allowing meet and greet. So please feel welcome. If you are a puppy handler, you can take the dogs out of the kennel and allow that person to hold them. Just make sure that you are monitoring that so we're not having anybody run away, just joking. um with the animal, making sure the dog just feels nice and comfortable, and everything is good. We're going to have treats available out there so that the babies are not bored, some chews. We're going to have lots of blankets and towels and rescue just to make sure we're cleaning up any messes. And then once everybody's gone, we're going to have everybody just wipe everything down, break the kennels down, and just put them to the side and ready for transport the next day, so that way you can collect all the items. All right, so we're at the end of the road here. So thank you everybody so much for joining me tonight for this virtual. I do apologize for the technical difficulties earlier. My computer hates me. We can't do this without you. We love our volunteers so very much, and we thank you so much for joining us tonight. I will go ahead and send this recording out so you guys can have it for the following week. I'm going to figure out how to shave off those first 10 minutes of me not talking. But thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Allie.
Oh, let me go ahead and stop recording. And it stopped.